Well, this is the very first time that Miss America has made a visit to the Coachella Valley. We have the amazing pleasure to talk with Miss America 2022, Emma Broyles, today. She is here to advocate for people with disabilities and inclusion. Tori also joining us. Welcome to you both, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us. This is pretty exciting,
This
isn't it,
is
Tori?
very exciting.
Yeah, it's a treat to be here today. So thank you for letting us be here and talking to us.
Of course. So it's your first time to the desert. You're here for 2 days and you're visiting Desert Arc after this. Why are you doing that?
So my brother, Brendan, actually has Down syndrome, and my mother is a special education teacher up in Alaska where I live. So being Miss America gives me the opportunity to advocate for people with intellectual disabilities, to advocate for people like my brother, to ultimately do what I can to spread the message of inclusion and why it's so important that we make sure that we build welcoming communities. So it's really exciting to be able to visit Desert Arc. My brother, Brendan, actually attends the Arc of Anchorage, which is what we've got up in Anchorage, Alaska. So I'm really excited to get to see Arc in a different community.
Yes, and the desert is, I'm assuming, different than Alaska, so you get a little...
Much different. Yeah, it was quite, I guess I wasn't expecting it to be as hot when I landed. It's pretty hot, isn't it?
And it's actually cooled off a bit. So
I know, that's what I've been hearing. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, this is hot for me, but it's so funny that this is not the hottest that it gets for you guys.
No. Well, and Tori, I know that you are obviously involved with Desert Arc and you do karate, I understand?
Yes, karate and also Martha online on humans. And
wow.
And so they do holiday parties, Halloween and Christmas and everything in Easter. And also I go on Martha, I do my party of colors, the arts, and sometimes at karate I do my hayas. And
those are important.
You know it.
That's awesome. How important is it to you and your platform to have these nonprofits that, you know, allow people like your brother and Tori to, you know, do activities like karate?
Yeah, I think it's a really important aspect of being able to lead an enriched life, especially for people with intellectual disabilities. So my brother, he goes to his art classes multiple times a week, and there's a community of people with intellectual disabilities that he can often interact with. And if we didn't have these communities and these organizations that put on these events for people with disabilities, it would have been much more challenging to get him to be involved in his community. So it's so important that there's so many people that are out there who are advocating for those with intellectual disabilities and putting on events for them to actually, you know, be active parts of their community.
Certainly, and like you mentioned, the inclusivity is a huge part to not make anybody feel left out, especially you know, when it comes to fun things like karate, martial arts, all, you know, other activities. What is your goal, I guess, moving forward after you visit the desert and continuing to spread awareness about this topic that is so close to your heart?
Yeah, I think ultimately what I'm trying to achieve, especially as Miss America, is to show people that people with intellectual disabilities have every capability of being active members of the community. I think a lot of people don't have the opportunity that I had to grow up with a sibling who has an intellectual disability and to grow up in this community. So in order to really create a more empathetic and welcoming environment all just around the world, is to kind of create those relationships between people with and without intellectual disabilities and kind of making that bridge, just creating that bridge in general and making ultimately our world a more inclusive and welcoming place.
So important, and it's so important and fabulous to see someone like you using your platform for such a wonderful cause. Thank you, Emma, and thank you, Tori, for joining us today.